Dobra večer, dobro nam došli, nadamo se da ste se ugodno smjestili. Zaista nam je drago što ste nam se pridružili večeras i odlučili da je ovaj stručni skup školske knjige vrijedan vaše pažnje i vašeg vremena. Moje ime je Ivana Gabela i ja vas srdačno pozdravljam u ime cijele školske knjige. Večeras za vas imamo jedno prekrasno predavanje našeg dragog gosta sa Cipra, doktora Gregorija Makridesa, no prije toga bih htjela predati riječ našoj autorici Tanji Đaković koja će vas također kratko pozdraviti. Izvolite.
Hvala. Evo, ja bi vas sve lijepo pozdravila ispred uredništva školske knjige. Ja sam Tanja Đaković, urednica sam stručna serije udžbenika iz matematike od 5. do 8. razreda i autorica jednog dijela, kao što je Jelena rekla. Dakle, ja se nadam da ćete uživati večeras u ovom predavanju gospodina Gregorija. Jutros je bilo jedno lijepo predavanje vezano uz europske fondove koje je pobudilo veliki interes slušateljstva, pa se nadam da će i večeras to biti tako. Želim vam da uživate u ovome i da saznate puno novih lijepih stvari. I ujedno bi se zahvalila gospodinu Gregoriju i pozdravila ga ispred školske knjige što nas je počastio svojim dolaskom ovdje u Zagreb. Hvala.
Dr. Gregorij Makrides će nam danas održati jedno divno predavanje, naravno za sve vas cijenjene kolegice i kolege matematičare, pod temom nove matematičke komunikacijske metode. Dr. Makrides je svjetski poznati ciparski matematičar, ali i predsjednik Europskog udruženja Erasmus koordinatora te izvršni direktor Europskog ureda ciparske mreže. Sigurni smo da ćete zaista uživati u njegovom predavanju i nakon toga smo vam naravno na raspolaganju sa čak 2 mikrofona, vjerovali ili ne, za naša pitanja i odgovore ili bilo kakve komentare. It is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us today, Dr. Makrides. The podium is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm a little bit heavy, that's why. Okay, it's okay. They didn't estimate my circumference. Okay, I'm very glad to be here. This is my first time in Zagreb, and I have to admit that it's one of the cleanest cities I've ever been. And I'm very impressed, and maybe this is why you don't want to be called Balkans, because I know some stories behind this. But it's a very clean, yeah, they want the sound louder, but okay, I can speak louder. The way I planned this cannot be done because we cannot do a workshop with so many people and have hands-on, etc., etc. So I will be probably speaking more than having you get involved, but it's okay, I think. I have with me, it's my honor to have with me the winner of Math Factor 2013, Math Factor Europe 2013, which took place last April in Sweden, Gothenburg. Peter is with us, Andolovic, who is won first prize last year. He is already on the website of the project. His video is there, but he will perform what he did last year, translated in Croatian. We have him on video, but he will have to wait to do this at the very end. So it will be our finale with Peter, okay? So what I'm going to try to do in the next 45 minutes, maybe an hour at most, it's up to you, is to present to you what is the LEMAT project, which is funded by the European Commission from 2002 to 2014. Introduce to you the methods. These methods are very new to all of us, that we are creating to teach mathematics using different factors, and I will explain the rationale behind it. And it's something that is still developing. We are in the pilot phase at this moment until the end of April, and then we will be doing the final writing until the end of June to develop the English version, and then the guidelines would be translated into 10 languages. I'm going to talk about the assessment and evaluation tools we are using and developed. Then I will show you a sample math theater video play, one or two, or pieces from that, so you understand what it is. This is better?
Yes.
Okay. In the booklet we gave you as copies, besides the presentation, there are these assessment charts, and we were planning to do some practice for you to assess and compare to the real or what the project has done. Anyway, we're too many to do this and be able to handle it. Then I'll show you some videos of the math factors so you understand what it is. And okay, if time allows and if we were a smaller group, we would do some hands-on. So we will skip that and then give the floor to Peter to do what he did last year. So what is the rationale? What is the problem? Usually a European project is trying to solve a problem. So you have a problem, you have to explain what it is, and then propose to the European Commission what you plan to do in order to solve the problem. And if the evaluators like the ideas you propose, and if they think, if you convince them that there is a problem on this topic, then you get a high score, and if you get a high score, you rank high, and if you rank high, you fall within the funded projects, and you get funded. Well, we said in our proposal that these are some of the words we used in our proposal, okay? So this is that's how we try to pass the message on the problem. So we said, between other words, of course, that many pupils and parents consider mathematics, as a difficult and a boring subject. It's something we all face as mathematics teachers, with the students, with their parents, with the society, etc. They say sometimes it's abstract and non-approachable. Many pupils, instead of studying mathematics, prefer to spend most of their time watching TV or playing electronic games or exchanging messages with their mobile phones, exchanging pictures, videos, competing maybe with games, Facebook, etc. Okay, then the question is, how can we bring pupils back to the playing field, as we may call it, of education? Well, one way is to use similar weapons. If young kids today like to use Facebook all day after school, let's bring Facebook into the teaching process. Can we do this? Then we play with the same weapons. If students like to watch X Factor with singing and dancing, right? We like that too, isn't it? Let's use that then inside the education system. If this is what is attracting their attention and interest outside school, then they see us that we are old-fashioned. Well, it's boring to be outside. We have fun. So let's use similar tools. Let's use them as tools inside the education system, if possible, or similar. So can we do an X factor in education? Yes, we can do a math factor, and we will show what it is. We can have an oral competition in 3 minutes, for example. Explain to me a mathematics theorem or an application or a history of mathematics, whatever, in an innovative way, in a clear way, in a funny way. Show me your talent, show me your communication talent, and explain something which is complicated sometimes to someone who is not an expert. And if you manage to communicate this, it means what? The students in class every day, when we teach them new mathematics, everything is unknown to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't need us to teach them. So the process of communicating mathematics in an attractive way, in a learn-to-play way, in a funny way, or whatever tools you want to include, it has to keep in mind that we are talking to people who are not experts. So it's like you talk to the public that you assume they are not experts to communicate a theoretical or an abstract notion, the same thinking you have to do in class. And what else? We as teachers in class every day, what do? We are actors. We are some kind of actors, right? We don't teach in the same and communicate in the same way we talk to our spouse at home or to our kids at home. We enter the class and we have some kind of acting. Sometimes we copy other teachers that we like their approach, or ex-teachers of ours, that we used to have them as idols. So we're acting every day. So if we are acting as teachers, and if students, pupils like to watch movies, theater, etc., and it's attractive to them, then also we can use theater into the teaching process and into the communication process to transfer mathematical ideas to them. Even we have seen from experiments that the worst student of mathematics was the best actor in a mathematics theater, was playing Plato. Even if he did not understand everything he was saying, at least we change his attitude. And if you change his attitude just a little bit, we are winners. Okay? So, in simple words, we say that to communicate the learning of mathematics in a non-traditional way, like a game through theater or competitions similar to the world-known X Factor and other. So this proposal introduces completely different and new approaches, invites teachers and pupils to apply new communication methods in learning mathematics which could be fun and enjoyable at the same time, brings new ideas into play and learn. I have to tell you also that we are trying to invent and introduce more factors of learning. We are preparing a proposal now under strategic partnerships. The deadline is end of April. And we're going to introduce another factor of learning mathematics, is teaching mathematics using comics. If young kids like to read comics and they consider them attractive and fun, okay, let's try to use comics and develop a book of comics. Through comics, we transfer mathematics knowledge. Le Math is proposing these new methodologies in learning and teaching mathematics for pupils of 9 to 18. We did try to develop two age groups, 9 to 13 and 14 to 18, to differentiate. And we are differentiating based on the curriculum a little bit. But the approach is more or less the same. Actually, even though we did try to concentrate on the lower age, we had better reaction from the higher age. Making learning more attractive and enjoyable for pupils and enhancing student skills and creative thinking. The methods could be used for other subjects in education, of course. You can use it for physics, since you like physics as much as mathematics, of course. And actually, we also run, do you know about FameLab? I think Croatia is participating in FameLab. FameLab is a science communication competition for adults. It has been also a result of a project. I think it was a project under science within society of FP7 framework. And now each country, with the support of the British Council in each country, is developing the winner of each country for communicating science. So science includes many other subjects. And then the winner of each country each year goes to UK for the finals. So in Cyprus, we also tried the so-called S factor, science factor, for kids also. And it's put under the the researchers' night. In every country there is a researchers' night in every September. I think it's the third Friday of every September. So we run this competition also for Science Factor for primary and secondary. And the new, we're introducing again a competition between schools called the Science Lab, in a way, and it's done in schools. So the aim is to develop a methodology in teaching and learning mathematics with the creation of two main tools that can be used by teachers. The methods are created in such a way so that they can be explained practically through an in-service training course for teachers who teach mathematics in this age group. And we call these two methods the Math Theater and the Math Factor. The Math Theater is teaching through mathematics theater activity, and the Math Factor teaching and learning through the mathematics communication activity. I'm reading the same because I think the translators have the same slides, so it's easier for them. The new methods are expected to make mathematics more attractive to young people, teachers, and parents, and compete with current trends of attractive activities for young people. So, and the pilot phase started from September 2013 to April 2014. Teachers and pupils are invited to use the methods through the guidance and participate in the European competition. So we developed the first draft of the guidelines by September of 2013. We published everything on the website. We invited teachers to help students develop mathematics theater. And the mathematics theater, we gave a competition, a constraint of minimum 2 students, maximum 10 students. And duration of 5 to 12 minutes, and to help students develop the Math Factor communication, maximum 3 minutes, for the 2 different ages. We developed a platform where you can upload the video, either YouTube or a specific video version that does not take too long to upload. And we had the deadline in February for the phase 1. There was an online assessment, evaluation, developing what we say the finalists. So we have the finalists of Math Theater for the 2 different age groups, and the Math Factor for the upper level 14 to 18. We only had, unfortunately, only 3 submissions for the Math Factor of level 9 to 13. So this is still open and will remain open until we have a minimum of 6 students. The students receive full support, accommodation, and food to come to Euromath in Cyprus next month. They only have to find the cost for their ticket to get there. I think everyone who is a finalist is already finding money and support, so I think everyone will be there. I will show you some of the videos of the finalists in a little while. What else? The project activities contribute to the Education and Training 2020 for enhancing creativity and innovation among youth. So this is part of the European priorities. The benchmark for decreasing low achievers in basic skills, such as mathematics and science, to less than 15%. So we hope that these methods and this approach will help into keeping more students into the school system. It promotes the European cooperation on schools in the area of competences by supporting the key competence for mathematics. So mathematics is one of the 8 Lisbon competences. The progress of the project until the end of 2013 was a first draft of guidelines for both approaches, which you can find on the website. These guidelines will be improved, as I said, by the end of June. So they would be much better, I say, by the end of June. We created a manual of good practices, which is online and is published. So we collected related good practices of mathematics communication throughout the world, and it can be found on the website. This is the, when we say website, we mean this one. Okay, and somewhere here you can easily see You can see examples. You can see this, the good practices math factor and good practices math theater. So that's where you're going to find. And the guidebooks are available here together with all the related documents. And we also run a script writing competition. So the script writing competition was a competition to writers to write mathematics theater scripts that can be used for students at the 2 different levels, and also to be of length around 15 minutes. So we have a winner. The winner is published. It was someone from Spain, but we collected 40 submissions from 15 different countries. So we have 40 math theater scripts, which are published in this book, and it's on the website also to download if you like. This book will be given free to the Euromath participants this year. But I have one extra copy. I leave it with the school, I think, with the organizers. And one extra for Peter. Then we also had a lady writer who is cooperating with us, who wrote a book, Mathematical Stories for Theater. And this book is also translated into English, and it's published. And we have a copy here also. So this is specifically for the age 9 to 13. So you can also download it free from the website. And then I mentioned the script writing competition, which finished in a course program. And we developed a course, because as part of the deliverable of this project is to develop a course to train teachers how to use the method. It's like, this is a micrography of what we do today of a course. The course is a 5-day course. So in the 5-day course, people like you who are going to be teachers to help other students will have to create a math theater between them, and they will have to create a math factor within the 5 days, hands-on, and present it to the others. So some of the participants will have the role of a jury, and some will have the role of the student. So these courses are already published and can be found on the website. I can show you. And actually, the first course we run in France the first 5 days of July. So if you belong to schools who are submitting a proposal for European training, and you didn't submit it by 17th of March, and you are submitting it by the deadline of Monday, you know it's extended, you have the chance, the opportunity to include this course. Of course, there are more sessions later on in October in Cyprus, and you can include them in your plan, in your European development plan. Okay, some progress indicators before we get into methodology. When we publish in September and we advertise the competition, then the visits to the website were skyrocket. So we jumped to 41,000 visits and a daily average of 290. These are some of the indicators we have to report to Brussels on how much publicity we managed to do. The number of reach, we also developed a Facebook competition with a targeted to the students. So the Facebook had reached 642,000 people. Number of online applicants to the competitions, 88 registrations we had, from which we choose eventually the finalists. The number of audiences in the competition where Peter presented, we had about 360 people there. And for this year, we already have more than 250 registrations. It looks like we're going to have around 400 people. Only 100 will be the finalists from the LeMath project. Okay. As more indicators, keep in mind that the guidelines will be translated into these languages. Unfortunately, no Croatian because we don't have a Croatian partner, but the material is available to be translated into Croatian if anyone is interested. The pilot phase, I said, were the two competitions, phase 1 online, Euromat 2014 in Nicosia, we will have the finals. The finals for Math Factor is going to be on the 26th in the afternoon, and the Math Theater on the 27th in the morning. There is a lot of interest from the European Commission, so three officials will come from the European Commission to watch the finals, which is very unlikely to be done. Usually, if you're lucky, you see one person showing up in a project, so we have 3 people coming. The rest I already mentioned. These are the project partners. The project is coordinated by the Cyprus Mathematical Society, and partners are Thalys Foundation, Charles University from Czech Republic, Lloydol Art from Austria, Vuzofa University from Bulgaria, a high school from Romania, then another school, a secondary school from Sweden, an NGO from Spain, the Junior Mathematical Society from Hungary, the European Office of Cyprus in Brussels. This is a secondary school in France. That's where we're going to have the training course in July. The National Technical University of Greece in Athens, and a private company, IT developer, which is developing all these online tools. So, why mathematics theater? Okay, the idea is to make the study of mathematics more attractive through theater, right? So some of our theater experts say that theater activities in maths education have the potential to act as an important tool for development of students' comprehension, encouraging their motivation and diminishing their preconceptions that mathematics is too abstract. The use of these activities in mathematics teaching can help teachers make math lessons more enjoyable both for students and themselves. Suggested scripts and concrete examples of theatrical experiences are available in the LMath guidebooks. Past, present, future. Since ancient times, great mathematicians have used oratory to communicate their knowledge. Through the rhetoric and the forum, they share their knowledge and enable the diffusion of major theories. Also, staging concepts and characters will allow our students a better understanding of concepts that seem often intangible. Theatrical techniques are often used in special pedagogical or socio-cultural situations, such as the learning of foreign language, etc. The universality of mathematics allows every mathematics teacher to use such a method as a tool to succeed in teaching their subject. You will be able to write your own scripts or use existing ones like the ones I mentioned to you. The teacher becomes the stage director. In this way, you can create dynamism in the group where each student can exchange ideas, give input, listen, and share with the pleasure of working together. Each student can also develop a socio-cultural awareness, autonomy, an open mind, imagination, creativity, and self-discovery with the help of the teacher, and learn to cope with the experience of performing in public and improving their self-confidence and self-expression. Theater reinforces the notions of sharing. That's why the creation of communication situations and a real exchange around the mathematics theme as a pretext to using a specific language can be practiced in a theatrical context. Students will learn to bring out, unlock, and fruitize their speech, improve their memorization during rehearsals, etc., etc. Theater is an art which mixes, among others, music, dance, comedy, and leads to a discovery of the related jobs of sound control, etc. And of course, it gives pleasure the game. That is the reason why teachers need to take account of the following points. The first point should be the heterogeneity of the groups. That means try not to take only the good students to play theater, not to put only boys or only girls or only good actors. Everyone is a good actor, as long as he's willing to speak mathematics in front of others, okay? Just in case, of course, if you have some who are very shy, you can get them involved in some other ways, okay? Always. And I explained there what you can ask them to do. Other points for teachers. The aim of such activities is not that they should be carried out continuously. So don't think that every day you will be teaching using math theater or math factor. It's something that you will create if time allows, if the system allows, if you want to develop it as a competition within the school, if you want to develop it as a club for mathematics communication activities. So it's up to you, it's up to the system that what allows you to do. You can do activities between schools in an area, in a region. What qualifications are needed to begin this theater practice? Well, I think you don't have to have expertise, but if you want to do something with higher quality, then you can always involve the experts in your school, the theater experts or the language experts, etc. You can get involved, in other words, non-mathematicians in the whole process if you like. So we write there several ideas. There are different types of theatrical activities. You can find all these, of course, in the guidebook. You can discover a new concept. So this is the setting of a theatrical activity can help the teacher to introduce a new concept. In this way, the teacher can prepare a discovery activity that will allow students to become familiar with new content. I'm not going to read everything. You can read it, I think. Or you can discover or you can reinvent a concept, a theatrical approach in the classroom, so you can do activities in the classroom or on stage. Okay, so it's up to you how you want to use the environment, but from the videos I will show you, you can see different scenarios. About writing a script, well, you can read the guidelines on how to write scripts, but you don't have to become a writer because there are many scripts available, and on this website we will be uploading every year new scripts. But if you want to become a writer, I can tell you that next year we will have again a competition for math theater script writing. So if you like to write scripts for theater, mathematics theater, you will be able to participate next year, and the winner receives a free trip to Euromath. So the Spanish person has a free trip to Cyprus this year, everything paid, and he also gets to participate in the jury for the finalist, for selecting the finalist. Some ideas for costumes, etc. By the way, in the competition, one could say, okay, how do you set up the scene, the scenario and the scene behind the play? The students are allowed within 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after to set up anything they like on stage. So you have 5 minutes to set up and 5 minutes to clean the stage. And people are creative. They bring light things, light constructions, and they set up nicely, but they can also project a video or whatever, slides. We have a back projection screen behind them, so you can have a scenery behind your play, projecting. So you have to be creative. Math factor method, okay, why mathematics communication? A few words about this. Improving communication skills is very important, as these are a form of social skills. The communication of mathematics ideas requires a special approach, as the theories initially seemed abstract or symbolic, and oral explanation is sometimes problematic. Learning the communication to communicate mathematics theories orally is a positive challenge for teachers and pupils. And the communicating science and communicating mathematics, believe me, is a new science. There are programs of study now for communicating science. So you can study to communicate science. And communicating science and technical matters is important nowadays. We see so much technology developed, and usually it's developed by the expert IT people, and they believe that what they give us here in an iPhone, for example, it should be easily understood and logically by anybody. And in an iPhone, you can discover many deficiencies because it was obvious to the IT people, but not to the normal people, for example. So what is the problem? Because the IT people lack the communication of their technology. So you need people who are not IT people to help the IT people communicate programs, etc., so they can be understood by the non-experts. Why, if I see a pencil, it means it's a tool to write? It's not obvious to me if I see it for the first time. But for an IT people, it's expected, it's normal, it's standard. So some things are not so obvious to people who use technology for the first time or who are unexperienced. But what is our problem? Our problem as teachers is that the young kids learn faster than us the new technologies. And we look to them as old-fashioned and behind the new technologies. And we cannot catch with them. At least what we can do is to try to use some of those tools they use every day outside schools and under the desk within the school day. Let's try to use some of those. At least they can appreciate it better. We lose the ground of communication with our kids. And the problem is technology. It's not the problem, it's okay, it's normal. The thing is that we should try to catch up with them. Why communicate mathematics to the public? It's a challenge. It's not easy. Right now, I'm not doing the best communication that is possible. I'm reading from the slides, talking to you, but I'm trying to make it as slow and clear as possible so it can be translated easily. Of course, to promote a mathematically and technologically literate workforce, to enable citizens to play an informed role in their democracy, to ensure that mathematics are an integral part of everyday experience. And if you watch the math factor communications by students, at the end of the day, you become more educated. It's unbelievable what you can learn from the students. It's unbelievable, and you will see things. Important attitudes to mathematics to be considered during a communication of mathematics is fascination, tolerance, fear, and indifference. And I explain, seek out mathematics in the media. you can say I'm amazed by mathematics and how its applications is making our lives healthier and safer. There was one very interesting, I remember, presentation in the conference by a mathematician from Lund University of Sweden. And the title of his presentation was Mathematics Saves Lives. And he explained one analysis, one statistical analysis that was done on behalf of medical doctors. The medical doctors were trying to cure cancer in little kids. And usually, they, with observation, with microscopes, etc., they try to observe the type of cancer, and then they decide what kind of medicine they should use in order to cure the illness. The cancer was in that case. So they discovered, the doctors discovered that in a certain group, even though they did their analysis, half of the kids eventually died. And they couldn't explain it. Because they gave the medicine, according to their analysis, that was supposed to be given to that group. Then they took all the data and they gave it to mathematicians at Lund University. The mathematicians analyze, and with mathematics you can analyze with higher accuracy, right? You don't analyze up to 1 decimal place. You can go to 10 decimal places if you like, huh? So analyzing with statistical techniques and numerical analysis, I suppose, whatever, they discovered that that one group where half of the kids died was actually 2 different groups. Because the mathematical analysis has showed that there was difference between the 2 groups. So they were giving the wrong medicine to half of the kids. Then that's why they died. So the mathematical analysis could save lives if you use it before you decide what kind of medicine to administer to the kids. So it was very interesting presentation. And I'll tell you another one interesting story with the math theater that happened to us just 1 month ago. About motivation, I think I don't have to tell you much. It is the... Okay. There are certain statements about motivation and how this can help motivating students, etc. We have seen it with our eyes in the experiments we ran the last 4 years. The 6 key attributes for any presentation you have to make sure you use simplicity in your presentation. Accuracy in mathematics, you have to be accurate. Credibility, so if you use something that belongs to someone else, you have to mention it. Emotion, surprise is very interesting, to surprise people. And of course, stories, etc., are considered the 6 key attributes of any presentation. Like the story I just gave you, for example. It creates a different touch to a presentation. Improving your presentation style, to strengthen your presentation, focus on improving your skills in these 4 areas: verbal and non-verbal communication, effective use of the visual aids, effective and meaningful organization of content, and deal with nervousness. Yes, okay. Verbal and non-verbal communication includes know your audience, all right? Use the room as a stage, prepare, speak loudly and clearly, modulate the tone, pitch, etc. Use gestures and facial expressions, develop a presentation persona, show passion and enthusiasm for the topic, do not read your notes or slides like I do, interact with pay attention to your audience, do not take yourself too seriously, keep track of the time. The other section is effective use of the visual arts, effective and meaningful organization of content. I'm not going to read details, dealing with presentation nervousness, making, etc. I think this is interesting, attracting media attention with public. The journalists questions, if you want to attract them, they say, who are you? What are you going to do? Where, when, why, and how? And now I'm going to just show you, well, the math guidelines is it's a draft at the moment. It's available on the website. I just gave you a very short summary of this. The math factor guidelines, again, is available on the website. But remember, there will be a new version, as I said, at the end of June. And by September, October, you will be able to see it in 10 different languages. What else? The evaluation tools, which I think we made copies for you. The assessment criteria for math theater assesses mathematical content, theoretical aspect, and creativity on the staging. So this is the way we assess. Nobody gets a 0. So we mark from 5 to 10. Right? It's positive evaluation we try to do. So nobody gets a 0. So lower is 5 to 6, intermediate 7 to 8, higher 9 to 10. If we were a smaller group, or if you attend a course, then we will have some practical aspects on this, showing videos, and we ask you to mark, etc. So you can assess the mathematical content, the theatrical aspect, and the creativity on the stage. So we will see a few examples in a moment. And for the math factor, there are 3 criteria: is the content, the clarity, and the charisma. And for charisma, to help you, we give different definitions, because not everyone agrees what is charisma and whether you can really assess charisma. So charisma is assessed by the understanding of any individual. So maybe I see charisma in a different way, you see it in a different way. So my mark of 9 may be different from your mark of 9, but that's okay. This is the impression you get. So let me go to the sample videos so you can see some real, there are some sample here also, but I will go to the, so let me show you first math theater. From this year finalist, I'm going to show you pieces. I'm going to show you pieces from 3 videos. But I'm going to tell you a real story also that happened to us. We had, in the process of evaluation, we agreed in the partnership that if we had two assessors, 2 evaluators for each video. And the assessors were given scores, 5 to 10, for each criteria. And the criteria are factors. They are multiplied to get the score. Okay, so a score, for example, is like this. You have the evaluator 1 and 2 on the math content 2 and 3. There were different explanations in the evaluation form. You take the average of the 2 evaluators, and you have 1 score for criteria 1 for the content. Then for theatrical aspect, again, the average between the 2. And for the creativity, the average, and then you multiply the 3 scores, because we consider them as factors. Huh? So the score for this theater play was 5,000 something, but we agreed that if in in any criterion, there was a difference of 3 points, then we had a third assessor. And the third assessor had a new score, and he had to decide whether his score will replace the lower or the upper. So if it was a 7 and a 10, and the third assessor says this is an 8, then he had the right to decide whether the 8 will replace the 7 or the 8 will replace the 10. This was the process. In one of the problems we had, in one of the theater plays that I'm going to show you, we had a difference of 4 points and even 5 points. One assessor gave 5 and 6, and the other one gave almost 9s and 10s. When I saw this, I was a person who have checked the results and decided where we put the third assessor. I was really very curious why someone would put a 5 and another one would put a 10 to the same video. I'm not going to give you the answer. I will let you guess why or what happened. And one assessor gave a 5 and the other one gave a 10. But it's not going to be the first video I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you this video, which was the age 9 to 13. Oh, God, open with media player.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 what?
1, 2, 3. That's all.
1 mushroom, 2 birds, 3 lilies. This makes sense.
When I say 1, 2, 3, I'm free to think about anything.
Okay. Do you mean that numbers really exist?
Maybe they don't. Maybe they are just seated in our imagination. If you think of a number, no matter if it's mushrooms, birds or lilies, that you consider, things will work out the same way. Number for the mason will be distances. Number for the banker will be euros or dollars.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I come to like it.
Some scholars think that the word 3 in most languages used to mean too much. It suggests that long ago men counted up to 2, no further.
What a blessed time it was.
Okay.
Eto, prvo da se zahvalim gospodinu Gregoriju i školskoj knjižnici što ste me pozvali ovdje i eto, nadam se da ćete uživati. Pozdrav. Moje ime je Petar. Pitate se vjerojatno zašto pjevam. Pjevao sam Odu radosti, slavni dio Beethovenove 9. simfonije koju sam slušao na ovom CD playeru. Zanimalo me kako ta tehnička naprava, taj kompaktni disk CD, može pohraniti čitavu izvedbu koju proizvodi orkestar. Na CD-u je glazba pohranjena u digitalnom obliku i taj digitalan zapis će ljudskom uhu predočiti približno jednaku kvalitetu zvuka kao izvorni zvuk. Kako je to uopće moguće i kakve to veze ima sa matematikom? CD je složen spoj mikrotehnologije, optike, elektronike, ali i matematike. Da bi slušali glazbenu izvedbu sa CD-a, potreban je složen niz radnji da se to ostvari. Danas ću se ja baviti samo jednim dijelom tog složenog procesa, a to je sampliranje. Naime, Glazba koju čujemo je zapravo signal sastavljen od beskonačno mnogo uzoraka. Možemo ga predočiti kao neprekidnu funkciju vremena, što je vidljivo na slici. Da bi na CD pohranili konačan broj uzoraka, potrebno je da bi na CD pohranili glazbu, odnosno konačan broj uzoraka, da bi na CD pohranili glazbu, objekt konačne veličine, moguće je pohraniti samo konačan broj uzoraka signala. A što je sampliranje? Sampliranje je postupak uzimanja konačnog broja uzoraka signala u jednakim vremenskim intervalima. Tu se postavlja pitanje, koliki mora biti vremenski interval između dva uzorka da bi dobiveni niz podataka dobro opisivao izvorni signal. Odgovor na to pitanje se nalazi kod Shannona. Shannon je bio matematičar i inženjer elektrotehnike i njegov rezultat je jedan od osnovnih rezultata u teoriji informacije. Shannon u svom proračunu koristi Fourierove redove, ali ja ću se danas baviti samo njegovom primjerom. Shannon koristi frekvenciju, a frekvencija je broj uzoraka u jedinici vremena. Shannonov teorem tvrdi, ako je Fm maksimalna frekvencija izvornog signala, tada frekvencija sampliranja mora biti barem dvostruko veća od maksimalne frekvencije izvornog signala. Vjerojatno će biti jasnije ako vam dam primjer. Vratimo se na CD. Frekvencija sampliranja CD-a je 44,1 kHz. Što to znači? To znači da je vremenski interval između dva uzorka 22,68 mikrosekundi. Odnosno, drugim riječima, svaki 22,68 mikrosekundi uzimamo uzorke izvornog signala. Naravno, što je frekvencija sampliranja veća, vremenski interval između dva uzorka je kraći, a time i kvaliteta zvuka bolja. No, ako s druge strane imamo da je frekvencija sampliranja premala, dolazimo do toga da je izvorni signal i signal dobiven sampliranjem da su različiti. I za kraj, sampliranje je samo jedan od nekoliko složenih procesa pri pohrani zvuka na CD. Sljedeći puta kad budete slušali Beethovenovu simfoniju na CD-u, imajte na umu da iza svega toga stoje složeni matematički računi i tehnologije.
I want to give to Peter one more prize for his effort to come here, a set of books. I hope I gave you some messages useful, I hope, and I hope you can use some of these ideas, approaches, tools for the benefit of the students, of course, and just follow up on our websites and see new things we're developing. And we would be happy to cooperate with some of you, of course, in the future in some ways. So if there are any questions,